Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series. My name is Jody, Maley, and I've been an entrepreneur and business owner for over 27 years now. Thanks for joining the podcast, and I can't wait to share with you tips and ideas on how to grow your heart-centered entrepreneur business. As a personality dimensions coach, I help entrepreneurs discover who they are at their core so they can have real and authentic sales conversations with their ideal clients. We all started or joined a business so that we can make an income on our terms. Whether you're just starting out in your entrepreneur journey or have been in sales for a while, the key to any business is sales and nurturing the sales relationship. So I invite you to sit back, relax, maybe even have your favorite drink and take some notes as we have fun delving in to learn more from the top 1% to 2% income earners who are making such a difference and impact for themselves and their beautiful teams. Their tips and ideas will uplift and inspire you in a heart-centered, authentic way to help lift you up, move you forwards towards your perfect dream and goal. So stay tuned to the end of each podcast as I will share a little gift from me that I know will get you inspired in your beautiful business. So I'm so happy to have this guest with me today. Theda and I actually connected like last week. It was very, very quick. And she was a referral from one of the Polka Dot group ladies that I'm with. So I'll let her introduce herself in a bit. And just to tell you again, my name is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series. So I'm so happy that you guys are here listening to us today. And Theda has some insights that she's going to give us today, but I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll get into the meat of the conversation here. So go ahead, my love.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So I'm Theda Blackwood. I live in Long Valley, New Jersey. I have been in direct sales for about 22 years. My first big company that I was with for 13 years, I did party plans. So I've seen this industry sort of shift. Yes. So it was party plan where it was with Southern Living at Home. And I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was home decor and it was amazing until it wasn't. Of course, everything changed, I think, when Amazon and home goods and things like that started coming into the picture. Free shipping, all the things. That company led me to, when that one closed, led me to a jewelry company. So again, I was doing more party plan and in-person events. And then in the pandemic, that company closed. And I wondered to myself, am I really going to find anything else again? I was like, I don't think I want to sell anything ever again. That's how I really felt like that at that point. I had reached the top of the comp plan in the two companies that I was with. And I told my husband as we were walking during the pandemic, I said, I don't know if I want to sell anything ever again unless it's consumable, it ships to people's door. I don't want to have to do a home party again. I'm 50, almost 56. And I was like, I want to be able to travel. I felt like it needed to fill a need and solve a problem. When people were dying in the pandemic, I really felt like I needed to represent a brand or a company that really was helping people in some way or form. And I found an amazing hair care company that literally transformed my hair, but that one closed in December.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've had to shut down 3 companies. And so, this time I was like, okay, I'm doing my research. I'm going to figure out what the next thing is. And I have a team of people following me. And, so I found a company that is a global company. It's called Life by V.A.L.U.E, and it is all natural skincare and professional quality makeup. And the whole reason why I do all of these things and the underlying thread is that I love helping women with their self-confidence. And whether it was decorating and entertaining, whether it was wearing a piece of jewelry and feeling fabulous, whether it was having a great hair day, or being able to put on a little bit of, feel like you're in the best skin, or whatever. It really, it comes down to that. It's just making women feel more confident, whether it's in their business or whether it's in the products that they're using.
Yeah, I love that. That's what brought me to one of the people that I coach who owns a direct sales company, and she has a cosmetic company, and same thing. I wanted to, we live in a Zoom world right now. And, if you can't kind of tell, I'm a little bit white. And so on Zooms, I'm like, I'm washing out. FYI, fun fact, I actually got my passport rejected 3 times because I was so pale.
Really?
Yeah. And my husband, who is First Nations, and he's like, I have no words. And I remember running into London Drugs and grabbing a powder and putting that onto my face just so I could be. I mean, look, this is actually white. I got makeup. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. But I love that you have that, want or need to help women with their self-confidence. And I think that that's key into what a lot of leaders, we start in network marketing or direct sales. I was with a party plan as well. And I started in that company years ago, not because of, I wouldn't say that I started because of money. That was not my motivator. My motivator was I love the products. We're a small town where I come from. And, I really just wanted to get out of the house. And for me, purchasing the kit was cheaper than
Yep.
everything on my want list. And my best friend had said, why don't you just sell it? Like, buy the kit. And then your husband won't be so mad at you for spending, a couple $100. So I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And so I
Yep.
got the kit, and then it was opening up the book and realizing, oh, you do home parties. Like, it didn't click into me. And so I thought, oh, the book says I have to have 6 home parties. So that was my journey and start. My kids were young at the time. They were 4 years and 6 months old. And
Yep.
I just wanted to be around grown-ups and have adult conversations. So for
Yep.
me, it was more of building friendships. And then quickly I realized this is making money. This is actually contributing to our home. And from that income, we were able to purchase a brand new house. We went on trips as a family,
Yep.
and it was a lot of fun. And so I love that you've connected that same thing. Just watching women start with something and then get their confidence of, wow, I can contribute to my family. I can dress up or down.
It is such a gift. It is such a gift. And this industry is, it's so positive. And I think there's so many benefits to this industry, whether it's, self-confidence, whether it's money, sometimes it's community. It's all of the things. It does start with a good product that somebody loves and enjoys, but there's so much more to it. And it's such a supportive environment compared to corporate America.
I agree. And I'm on a mission, and I know that you relate to this too, but I'm on a mission to change some of the wording that people have around direct sales and network marketing, and thinking that everyone out there is just out to, that it's a Ponzi scheme, taking your money, pyramid. We hear those words all the time. So what is something that you may say if women are experiencing that, and how they can relate that to their business? Like, you get that a lot, I'm sure. So what do you?
I do. And I think, when somebody says to me, something about, is it that pyramid scheme? I'm like, the whole world is a pyramid scheme. I mean, and to be fair, like, what I own is a franchise. I own a franchise. I get to be the sole, I'm the salesperson. I'm the CEO. I am the admin. I'm all of it because, it's my business.
Right.
And so, I really feel like, yeah, direct sales network marketing gets a bad rap, but in fairness, it is the most amazing industry because we get to give great customer service. Whereas if you go to like for me, if you go to a Sephora and Ulta, that girl that's selling stuff might be there this week, not next week. It could be a temporary thing. Whereas I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it for my customers, long haul. I know them. I'll know what they love, and I know, more about them.
I like that. Now, before we jumped in on the call, we were talking a little bit about leadership development. And this is a message, I think, for all the, the young women, middle-aged women, even if you're older and you're just starting out. but you're starting your leadership journey. And so we want to talk a little bit about that and what that means to you, because I love this part.
Yeah, so as a leader in this industry, I think it's really important to, and I said this to you a minute ago, it's important to do all the things that got you there. Don't stop doing them, because I think what happens is that first level of leadership, you have sponsored, you've usually brought new team members in, you've mentored people, you're also building your customer base and you're selling. But a lot of times people rest on their laurels and think, oh, I've arrived. I just got this title, which it is a great thing to start, it is the first level of leadership. But you need to continue doing those things. You need to continue growing your business, meeting new people, networking, adding to your team, helping women start a business all the time. And there's going to always be 20% of the people in your organization doing 80% of the work 100% of the time, no matter what you're doing. That's the Pareto principle.
Yep.
And what I have found in all of my businesses is that this Pareto principle is 100% spot on.
Yeah, me too. And I think too, what people forget is that, and I'm teaching and coaching my husband. That's fun. And same thing with him. He's brand new to this part. I mean, he works in a mill. He's been in a job where you get used to, you trade your time for dollars, you go there, you work. And so this is a new concept for people of that 20-80 rule of literally the 20% of the work that you do right now does create 80% of the results. It takes 90 days. And I know that there's lots of people who jump out of the gate, like you just joined with a company here and in the last month and a half, you've leveled up how many times? This is crazy, by the way.
9 ranks in 1 month.
Yes. Congratulations. I love that. Women celebrating women. Woohoo. 9 times. And I think though that people forget, you built teams before. Mm-hmm. So you had a level of influence to be able to do that. And I think that that's great when people do have a level of influence that they can bring along, but you also know, hey, this takes real work. This is real work. And in the last 6 weeks, I know that you have probably been working super hard because those results that you're doing right now is what's going to build teams, help more development, keep your business going through some of the summer months. Like, yep. You're a suave woman, so I know that that's what your head's thinking.
Well, and I'm consistent. I think that is another thing that happens in this business is that it is flexible, but it's not optional. If you want to build a solid business, flexible in that, I've been in Miami last week and New York City yesterday. I'm home today, but I have been traveling for like the better half of, the week. And it allows me this flexibility, but if I don't get back to business and stay consistent with all of the activities that I've always done to serve my customers, to do, customer service, building new customers, meeting new people, it takes effort. And I think sometimes I've seen leaders in this industry, especially, a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to put my business on the back burner. Well, let's just make that clear. You can't put your business on the back burner. Mm-hmm. You can slow it down if you need to, if life happens. And I have had my parents have both passed away within these past 22 years. And I was able to work my businesses alongside life happening.
Right.
And while you can slow things down, you really shouldn't stop. So think about it this way. If you have a brick and mortar store and you say, life happens, I'm putting it on the back burner. You don't show up for a week or 2 weeks because life is happening. People stop coming to your store.
Yeah.
And you can't do that as a business owner. And you have to treat yourself seriously enough to say, you know what, I have to show up somehow, some way. Now, when you aren't feeling your best, you can do posts without your face. You can do things to promote your business that are not your personality when you're not feeling amazing.
Right.
But when you start feeling amazing again and more human again, when the things are not happening, just putting your face out there and letting your followers or your customers know that you're still here.
Yeah,
You haven't
exactly.
closed business.
That, and I think that there's too, some people feel maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say shy, but they feel bad. Here was another thing too that I've coached with, my current coaching clients and other leaders as well. There's no time to the follow-up. We have, because I've had so many people, and I'm sure you've had team members, same thing. Oh, I planned on reaching out to so and so, but then I didn't do it. Now, like a week, 2 weeks. I mean, I don't even care if it was a year ago. I still followed up with people that were, hey, I'm sorry. I dropped, I dropped the stick here by not reaching out to you. And I'm just checking in. I know it's been a year, but I'm just checking in to see where you're at. How can I help you? Because I think in the follow-up, people have this misconception of if you don't follow up within X amount of hours, that person's gone. And I don't believe that. And I don't think you do either.
No, I think, I think it's important to just let your customers know that you're always there for them.
Right.
And whether you're sending an e-newsletter or you're sending a text or you're showing up consistently on social where they know that you're still in business. Yeah. Or even like it's a direct message on Instagram or Facebook. It can be as, all those different places.
So I have another question for you too. When you're coaching with your new reps, because I take it that you've obviously leveled up here, would you say 9 times? That's crazy. So 9 times leveling up. How much, because I think this is important for leaders looking to grow their leadership and expand. And I have a feeling I know what you're going to answer, but I just want to see if I'm right. How much time do you spend on those initial first reps coming in on training them?
Well, I try to give everybody, a lot of access for sure. But what I've also learned is I'm very good at matching efforts. I find that I cannot do the work for everyone. I'm there 100,000% for people when, as they're launching their business. But if somebody says, I'm launching and they don't, I'm like, well, what can I do to help you? What's your goal? That kind of thing. Part of it's working with a goal. What's your, you got to have a plan. You definitely have to have a plan. Otherwise it doesn't happen. But I'm also really good at matching efforts where, unfortunately I've got some people that never get out of the gate. And, and I think as a new leader, it can be very frustrating because you're like, well, what did I do wrong as a leader? And there's nothing that you did wrong as a leader. As long as you showed that you were there and that you are, supportive of your new team member, but you have to realize that you can't do the work for everybody. So, I think what I've heard new leaders say too is, I just want to work with people who want to work. Well,
Right.
but you have no idea who you're sponsoring and when that business is going to get into them, when they really take off and go. So I think it's just important to realize that you have to just be there for everybody, reach out consistently, but you can't do the work for people.
No, I agree. And it's funny that you say that because another lady I had on podcast a while ago, she was one of the top Mary Kay ladies, and she said almost the identical thing. She's like, I've signed up people, or there's people in my downline, and she says she makes herself available, exact same thing. And when they're ready and you know what, I just saw you earn another car. I'd like to learn how you did that. Then she knows that she can then be, okay, here's the plan. Here's what you need to do. Focus on the goal, the plan, the numbers, and then getting down to business. How many calls does it take to get there? How many, for them, I think a lot still do home parties. How many presentations do you need to get X amount of customers? And here's another thing that I'm going to ask you, because this is another misconception I think that people have in this industry, is that you need to have thousands and thousands of customers to build a 6-digit income. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you don't have to have thousands and thousands, but you you definitely have to, I think you need to build new business all the time. I mean, it could be 1 or 2 customers a month. I think it's just like again, if I owned a storefront, and I had say 10 customers to start my business, I can't have my entire business on those 10 customers. I've always got to market and work my business so that I'm always bringing in new. Because one thing I don't have control over is how often people shop.
Right.
But I do have control over like how much I grow my business. And I think growth in any business, whether it is like what my husband does in business or what I'm doing here, is you always have to have a certain amount of new business. You always have to have existing customers. And any smart business owner would say that you always need to have a portion of your business being new business.
Yep, absolutely. And then it doesn't need to be thousands, because that's what
No.
I find so many girls that, they start and they're just always looking for the next sale, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but also be of service to those first 10, like you said,
Of course,
and be in service to them, get referrals. You slowly build it that way. And those ones are the numbers that I think that keep people in business for a long time. Just like you said, they know you, they like you, they trust your opinions. They'll keep coming back because they like the customer service. And I think for a lot of leaders have learned that customer service, number one.
oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, people don't, what is it, care how much you know until they know how much you care. So
Right.
it truly is important to care about your customers, care about your team.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I know, so we also discussed this too, that Theda is going to do some training into our group. So if you're not part of the Heart Centered Entrepreneur Series group on Facebook, in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about it and we'll have her in there, but she's going to do a little bit of training in there on how, even if you're on a budget, because not every company, my husband's with a fairly big company, you're with now a big company that's global. And so not everyone, in some of these smaller companies, they don't have the accessibility to the back end of leadership stuff that these bigger companies have. So she's going to share with us a way that she helps keep her team motivated when she was working with these smaller companies. And so I think that's really important, because each leader, you never know what companies are going to do. You and I have both actually been part of that. I was with a couple of amazing companies. They're top income earners. And then all of a sudden the company was gone. And then you're back at square one, wondering, man, do I have enough in me to do another startup? Oh, I just can't do it again. Like, that was my heart and stuff. And so what I did find, though, is that with those smaller companies, I developed systems that helped work, systems that help keep your team going. And I think that I would love to have you share on that into the group. So we're looking forward to that, a little bit of training from you, which would be awesome.
I can't wait.
I just find like this is a great thing about having this podcast and meeting 1 to 2% income earners in a variety of different companies, is that each one has built their company in a little bit different way. I've heard people with TikTok, Facebook messaging. You're going to be sharing boards, right?
Boards. Yep.
Boards. And what's boards? And it was so funny because last week I said to Theda, oh, I don't really know what that is. I think I do, but I'm not quite sure. And then somebody sent me their board this week. And then I got a firsthand experience. I'm like, oh, I get it. Hey,
it's a game changer.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I thought this is awesome. So if you're on a tight budget, this can be a really great resource for you guys. So I can't wait to share that. And once this goes live, we will then link back to that training. I'm not a tech person. I allow my tech people to do that, but that's what we're going to do. So I have one more quick question for you before we wrap up today, because yeah, I love getting deep in with people, learning how they've grown their business. And it's pretty unique that I don't think there's been one person, by the way, who has not changed companies several times throughout their journey. And I kind of find that that is interesting because who you were when you started, I've been doing this 27 years and you said 24 years.
Yeah,
So
22.
yeah, 22. So what I find is that you're not the same person that you were when you started out. So if you could give Theda a piece of advice that would have moved you forward more quickly. So when you first started out 22 years ago, what's the piece of advice that you would have given yourself?
Wow. That's interesting. When you're talking about different companies, I'm pretty loyal to a fault. I one of the companies that I was with, I wish that I had probably changed sooner. But yet, oh gosh, I think I don't know if it's watching the companies change, or if you're not fulfilled in your journey, maybe listening to your heart and do the research and find perhaps and it could be a leader above you that you don't vibe with. It could be the company is changing course, things like that. This happens in this industry. Sometimes companies change leadership, or they change product focus or something like that that just doesn't sit with who you are. Maybe just listen to your gut. And I would say, if you're a newer leader in this industry, I mean, or even if you're thinking about going into this industry, find a leader who is like, maybe it's not your next door neighbor. Maybe it is a professional in this industry who is not going to go anywhere, who's going to be there consistently for you when you're, on your journey towards leadership, because somebody can't lead you where they haven't been before.
Absolutely. And that's the exact same advice that I gave my spouse when he was looking at different companies and being in alignment. And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
choose a team. That's what I said to him. Choose,
Interview people,
yeah,
interview people,
choose
whether you're changing companies, or you're changing, or you're entering into this industry, do your due diligence, do your research, find the leader that you vibe with, or the company that you vibe with,
yeah,
the culture that you vibe with.
yeah, exactly. And I kind of find it funny because the leader that my husband has aligned with, and he my husband's so funny. So he's a very green personality. I mean, that's what I coach and train people, right? On your leadership style, learning your leadership style and teaching that to your team so you can all be vibrant together.
Yes.
That's what I love to do. And so my husband's a very green personality who's analytical, and that's who he aligned with. He aligned with a very analytical leader
Yep.
who, you do this, you'll get this result. And he was listening to something that this leader was talking about the other day. And the leader told a funny, well, I didn't think it was funny, but my husband thought it was super funny. He's like, he's like, I even like his laugh, even how he laughs at himself or whatever. And I'm like, oh dear, you have aligned with your perfect person. That's all I can say,
Oh,
because I
that's
didn't think it
good.
was funny at all. But my husband was just like gut laughing over it. And I'm like, and
And
that's the kind of thing too, you know, have fun with your business, have fun with your leadership, be the leader as you are learning to grow into leadership that other people do want to follow. You'll find your perfect little gem, I think, of leadership as you go along.
And there's also one other thing that I would recommend is to read books on leadership. I mean, there's some great John Maxwell books there's Jack Cantwell. the 7 steps or well, it's the success principles. That's the Jack Cantwell. Anyway,
Canfield.
Canfield. Gosh, yes. Sorry. Jack Canfield. Sorry. But those are great books to read because I think you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And you also are going to coach when you're talking about green. There are different personality types, and if somebody's really rah, that's not going to vibe with somebody who's very, method, maybe like I need this and this and this. And when you, I'm very, I get excited, passionate, all the things, and I'm not very process focused, although I can be. I have to know who I'm working with. So I know, okay, they're looking for this to this to this to this. When I'm like, let's go have fun. But
as you can tell from you went traveling last week. You were all over your countryside, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it is important as a new leader to immerse yourself in some books that can help you develop your leadership style and help you recognize other people's personalities. Because if you haven't worked with people before, with different personality types, you really do need to figure that out so that you can be a better leader.
I love it. And I love that you mentioned that because that is exactly what I do. So if anyone here feels aligned with that, if you would like to work with Theda, reach out to her. We'll give you your socials here as well on the interview, and through Anchor here, you can reach out, or on YouTube, it's going to be broadcast there as well. So we'll make sure that you can get in contact with Theda. And if you would like to know more about what your leadership style is, reach out to myself, and I have a complimentary 1 hour process that I do with people so that you can, get to know a little bit for your leadership style, areas that you need a little bit help in and where you're strong. And then we work together to do that. So thank you so much for joining us today. A beautiful person, and it's such a beautiful interview. I loved it. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye for now, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned a lot. Each one of my guests have a special and unique spot in my heart as they have shared what they love about their business and how they truly have grown in their entrepreneur journey. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I would love to gift to you a fun and easy quiz that you can take right now that will help you assess how you feel about the sales process in your beautiful business. Building relationships, lifting each other up so we can all gain more in our lives and our business is what is truly important to me. And my hope is that in some small way, I've been able to do that for you today. So again, this is Jody Maley with the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series here in beautiful BC, Canada. Truly have a great and inspired rest of your day. The link to the quiz will be attached below, and please like, follow, and share this podcast if it inspired you.